My people, my people, my people. How's everyone doing? Welcome back to the Q with Q. It's me, your host, Quentin R. Giles, and we have a lot to discuss. I mean, so much has happened as we are about to enter into the Memorial Day holiday. So much has happened this past week. I mean, from Micheal Cohen up there testifying on the stand, spilling all the secrets about what actually was going on. I guess it's not really a secret because we already know, but about what was actually going on when the money was paid to adult film actress Stormy Daniels and Playboy playmate Karen McDougal, to Jasmine Crockett and Marjorie Taylor Greene arguing, knucking if you're bucking and ready to fight on the Congress floor. In the Congress. As if we was outside. I mean, it was insane. Absolutely insane. To Diddy and the video showing him physically attacking, beating, menacing Cassie. So much has happened. So much has happened in this last week, and it was just information overload for me. I had to take my time to process everything because where do we even begin? Okay? But first, as you know here, we are always civically minded and want to be civically engaged. So I'm going to take this time to remind you all to make sure you're registered to vote. Okay, we have elections coming up. Yes, I know you feel a type of way about the candidates. Let's just be real. You feel a type of way about Biden, okay? If you're watching me, more than likely you're a Biden voter or you voted Democrat in some type of way. We ain't voting for Trump. You feel a way, but make sure you're still registered to vote. Make sure the people around you are registered to vote. And y'all, make sure we're doing the due diligence to look and see who else is running, right? I am going to advocate for you to vote for President Biden as we come up because we don't have time to go back to dictatorship. Baby, I don't have time for laws to be created for me to be 3/5 of a person again, okay? I'm not interested, okay? I'm not interested in that. So make sure you're registered to vote. There are also other people on the ballot that are running, not only in your local and state elections, but keep in mind also as we talk about the president and the Congress, the reason we have Supreme Court justices is because the president, whoever that is allowed per the Constitution to nominate a person, and then the Senate confirms the person. So it is way beyond just voting for a president, wherein a lot of people think the president don't have a lot of power, but they do. They are limited in scope. However, they are not limited in scope in other ways. So make sure you're registered to vote, baby, because we got to get everybody out to go down there to vote for Biden. I said what I said, and I'm not going to change on it, okay? I'm not going back to 3/5 of a person. So make sure you're registered to vote, people. All right. Now that we got housekeeping out of the way, let's discuss the Diddy thing because what? So you all will remember that Cassie sued Diddy, I think a day or two before the statute of limitations was going to run out in New York for her to be able to do something. So we stand with survivors. We stand with people who make allegations. We want allegations to be proven true. But what we don't do around these parts is demean, question, castigate, and push away a person that is making an allegation. Okay? Yes, false allegations have been made against people in the past. And yes, perpetrators have gotten away scot-free. So what we do is we become adults. We become adults and we hold space for the allegation to be levied against the person. And then we hold space for an investigation to corroborate or to dismantle the allegation. But what we don't do is victim blame, victim shame, nor do we do throwing rocks as soon as a person makes an allegation against the person. Now, in the case of Diddy, we've been hearing stuff for a long periodically time. We're not going to act like this was new, that we hadn't heard that he was doing things for a long periodically time. Okay? If you don't get the joke, I'm sorry. Google long periodically time and you'll get the joke. Okay? All right. So we're not going to act like this is something new, but Cassie went ahead and filed that lawsuit. And I mean, it shined a light on so many things. For me, I put out a post on Threads, basically saying once the video came out that this should I would hope that this helps people hold that space for people making allegations, hold that space for alleged victims. Because when Diddy settled that lawsuit in 2.5 seconds, that told me everything I needed to know. Okay? That told me that something, somewhere at the base minimum in the allegations that Cassie was levying against him in that lawsuit, something was true. Because Buddy didn't want to go through deposition. Buddy didn't want to go through discovery. Hello, somebody. I've watched enough court TV to understand when they go through discovery, baby, we find out some things. So he settled that lawsuit and I was like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, something in that true. I can't say he did all of it, but it feels like a whole lot of it is true. The only reason I can't say he did all of it is because they settled. We didn't get the discovery, we didn't get the evidence, but the suggestion that, not even a suggestion, the fact that he settled lets me know I can draw a conclusion that something in that lawsuit is true. Then we get the video over the weekend, and we get the video of him violently attacking her, abusing her, running down a hallway half naked in a towel, yanking her, kicking her, throwing vases at her. We don't have audio, but I would imagine in that fit of rage, expletives were being hurled at her as well. My mind went to, what kind of person has the audacity to run down a hallway in a public hotel half naked, abusing a woman? It suggests that you're very comfortable with your actions. You're very comfortable with how you acted in that manner, which suggests this ain't your first time. It can't possibly be your first time. No way, the way you flung that woman around. No way. And I have an issue because Diddy did issue an apology, but if we look at all the statements that he's made prior to this video coming out, since the lawsuit was levied to the video, it's all about, people are coming after me. They trying to take me down. They trying to take my money. It's a witch hunt. They looking for clout. I'm sick of this. Spread love. And then the video drops and we see the horrific violence perpetrated against Cassie at the hands of Diddy. And then we get this apology of, oh, I was on drugs and I was messed up and all the things. Here's my issue with the apology. It is because your public stance was not the same. Your public stance in this apology, which you didn't apologize to Cassie. It sounded like you was apologizing to us. But baby, you don't need to apologize to us. You need to apologize to Cassie. I didn't hear Cassie's name one time in the video. I heard I took ownership. Ownership of what? Name it. You took ownership of beating her. You took ownership of, allegedly, per the lawsuit, of making her perform sex acts with male sex workers and you. You trafficked her. Is that what is that what the apology is for? Or is the apology because we see the video? Is because we look at you differently now. The only person that needs the apology is Cassie. Period. But since Diddy came to the internet and basically apologized to us, which again, I'm sure I don't know why, I have questions. I have questions before I can fully accept the apology, right? We can't run directly to reconciliation until we have true accountability and we talk through some things. I always use an analogy, and maybe it's not timely, but I have used this analogy in other videos before. Me and my wife have talked about this whole accountability thing. If I go upside my wife's head, or if I cheat on my wife, which I would never do, and then I just loop around and be like, oh, I apologize and move on, but I don't give her the space to feel how she want to feel, to say what she needs to say to me, to leave if she wanted to leave, or whatever her reaction is. How can one truly get to reconciliation in a place of peace if we run past the other person's healing process? If we run past how the one that is offended, the one that is at the hands of the abuse, if we run past what they need in order to reconcile. Now, I'm not saying in every infraction that people have, that you should be beholden or chained to what somebody else needs for years upon years. But let's not act like there is not a true process that goes through when you offend someone, at the very least. And we talking about abuse, but at the very least, your friendships, when you offend someone, offend a friend, offend a family member, if you care about that person enough and that person is impacted, you will do things, not wild things, but you will make space to show that you are truly sorry, that you are truly repentant, that you truly want to restore the relationship, right? That's basic human nature 101. So the apology that Diddy gave us that should have been to Cassie, I am confused because all this time you've been telling us that it's a witch hunt. They want your money. They're trying to take the black man down. All this stuff. We need love. Yeah, we do need love. Yeah, the black man has been dismantled and taken down. Yeah, some people do come for money, but this ain't that, buddy. This is not that. And so that apology to me was very weak. That apology to me was not sincere. Yeah. And the fact that you put out a statement right before the video dropped. One thing that I know about CNN, because CNN was the one that got the video. One thing that I know about journalism, period. When they have a story, they always go to the person that the story is about to tell them. They have a story, and do you want to comment? Because if you read down, even TMZ, they'll say, we've not been able to get a contact, or they refuse to comment, right? Or comment on what we have. So right before that video was dropped, Diddy released a statement talking about love and all this other stuff. And then the video was dropped in a day or two later. Now we get the apology. But you gave us the statement right before it came. You knew it was coming. So now that you see the reaction of the public, now you apologize? I'm not buying it. I'm just not buying it. There is room for reconciliation. There is room with you and Cassie, because that's who needs to be reconciled. But I'm not buying that the apology is sincere at all. This has to be a horrific time for Cassie. Definitely praying for her and her mental well-being and her family and her husband and the children. The amount of turmoil I would imagine that this woman has gone through, not only from being abused, but then from standing in the light and saying what it is to have people question her, doubt her, make accusations against her, and then for this video to come out that she then has to relive in such a public manner, and for this man to gaslight her this whole time, before it to come out in this way, I couldn't even imagine what that is. And to see Diddy beat her, my opinion, he should be under the jail. Los Angeles has come out and basically said the statute of limitations has run out since the time of the event. So they can't prosecute him because the local statute of limitations or the state statute of limitations is already passed, and the federal statute of limitations has already passed, has already long been gone. So he's not necessarily going to go to jail for that. That sucks because he should. He should 100% pay for that with prison time. It is inexcusable. And I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of the conspiracy theories of all the other things that we've heard about Diddy, because I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to stick to the video to say that if that's the behavior that you displayed in such a public place, and you thought you were going to be able to just pay the hotel $50,000, that's what's being alleged. You paid them $50,000 to keep the video. But before you even get to the $50,000, the way that you acted so brazenly, publicly in this building, that woman has endured so much worse, and she's owed every penny that you settled with her for. She is owed every penny and then more. And Diddy is owed prison, in my opinion. That's what he's owed. Prison. Speaking of prison, I wonder if Trump's going. Will Trump be down there to the jailhouse? Because Micheal Cohen is up there talking all day, okay, on the stand. Micheal has been testifying and basically telling us what we already know. Now, you remember that Micheal Cohen went to jail himself. And individual one, who was Donald Trump, did not, for the same scheme that we're still discussing. That they took money to pay Stormy Daniels, to pay off Karen McDougal, well, really to pay Stormy Daniels, so that the story wouldn't come out, because at this time in the election, the Access Hollywood tape came out where we heard Trump say, grab women by the P word. You can do that because you're a celebrity and you can do whatever you want. So he admitted to being a sexual assaulter, and that they paid this woman to keep her story silent so that also would not come out, because they were scared that they were going to lose the election. That is what this whole thing is about. His lawyers are claiming, which I think they're lying, but they're claiming that he was so concerned about Melania and he didn't want the story to come out for Melania. Wrong answer. I don't see that. I don't see how, Sway. I don't see how, because then we found out other instances you've been cheating on Melania. You've been had indiscretions against her. So I think it's clear as day that they used the money. Micheal Cohen went out and mortgaged or took a HELOC, home equity line of credit, on his home, and that's how he paid her. And then the Trump organization paid him back, plus some, so that they can account for the taxes and then other deals that he has done. I think it's clear. I think it's clear as day. I really, really do. I think it's clear as day. I think the judge said today, so today is Monday, May 20th. The judge said that they are going to do closing statements next week after Memorial Day, not Labor Day, after Memorial Day, and then the jury will deliberate afterwards, because they don't really want to break in the holiday week. So, or having jurors to have to think about something or think about closing arguments and then get jury instructions the next week. Instead, the judge is just saying, we're going to push closing arguments out till next week, and then they'll get jury instructions, and the jury will go off and, decide either guilty or not guilty. Now, I think we're going to get a guilty verdict. I do. Do I think he's going to go to jail? I still don't know about that. He should. Micheal Cohen did. He should. But more importantly, I don't know if it changes the calculus in the presidential election. I don't know if it then turns Republican voters off. Maybe some independents, maybe some people who have swung have swung from Obama to Trump to back to Biden, those people that are open to crossing party lines. I don't know. To me, it feels kind of baked in the cake, because I've always seen him as a crook. I've seen him as a crook for a long periodically time now. So for me, it's baked into the cake, but I am a specific type of voter, right? So I don't really know if it impacts. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments. Do you think, if you're listening to this, shout out to my podcast people who are listening, but if you're watching this on the YouTube, down at the YouTube, do you think he's going to go to jail, yes or no? And do you think it's going to make a difference? Because I don't know. I really, really don't know. We'll have to stay tuned to see about that. I'm not going to pontificate on it too much longer. But what I will say is Trump has issued in just shenanigans in our political system, in our political discourse. Just pure blown shenanigans, demagoguery, violence, and just behavior that is beneath the office across the board. And we see that in Marjorie Taylor Greene, in all of the antics and shenanigans that she does, in everything that she does. Over this past weekend, again, a lot happened. Her and Rep. Jasmine Crockett got into it. Now, originally they were there because the committee was deciding whether to bring impeachment charges up against Attorney General Merrick Garland, because they are basically, they basically want the full record or transcript or audio from the Robert Hur special counsel investigation that Robert Hur went and interviewed President Biden. Remember the whole classified documents thing? Well, Trump has that court case, and then Biden found that he had some documents, and Mike Pence found that he had some documents. Both Mike Pence and Joe Biden have been cleared because they determined that they did not maliciously take the documents and try to hold on to them, as opposed to Trump. Okay, there's the distinction. So they want the transcript. Merrick Garland hadn't released it. Biden issued or said it was executive privilege. So now they're going to have to go to court to figure that whole thing out. But they were trying to decide if they wanted to hold Merrick Garland in contempt, or not in contempt, if they wanted to impeach him or not. Marjorie. So here comes Marjorie, who makes a disparaging statement about Jasmine Crockett and her eyelashes, about whether she can't read or something like that. To which chaos erupted because Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez came to Jasmine Crockett's defense and basically tried to get those words stricken from the record and tried to get her reprimanded. And then what Jasmine Crockett did was she did not come at her directly the way in which Marjorie Taylor Greene did. She posed her shade as a question, right? If someone would say something about a bleach blonde, bad built butch body, would that be a problem, right? Obviously a direct slug to Marjorie Taylor Greene, but phrasing it in a question rather than a direct attack, because Congress rules, Senate and House, you can't directly attack another member, right? So Jasmine did it a little more smartly, if you will. I'm gonna say this: it is chaotic. I'm all here for a person, defending themselves. I do think that Marjorie Taylor Greene and people like her are debasing the office. Well, they have debased the office. They have debased it in such a way that people don't want to even run for Congress. I'm going to say this. Running for Congress was something that I thought about, but in no way am I joining that jungle gym. I'm not joining that. I'm not putting my family at risk to go do that. I'd rather advocate here and do what I got to do and go on. But the way in which Marjorie Taylor Greene, MAGA Republicans, Trump have debased the office, have debased our civics, have debased our country in such a way where we act like immature children, where we act, that's not even shade towards children, because they got more common sense at times. But to act in such a way that is so beneath the office and beneath humanity is just disgusting. And Marjorie Taylor Greene continues to have disgusting moments. And I feel like maybe she's picking on Jasmine Crockett right now because she needs a foe. She's like one of those people that always needs an enemy, because her failed attempt to kick out Mike Johnson didn't happen. She was trying to make Fetch work, and Fetch never worked. So now that that's dead in the water, it seems as though she's looking for a new target. And why you picked the black woman out of all people to target, I'm sure we already know. I'm sure we do. But you picked the wrong one, because Jasmine is going to come back. Now, do I like this spectacle of them arguing and going back and forward? No. Because no. These are supposed to be our leaders. And I'm not trying to make an equivalent between Jasmine Crockett and Marjorie Taylor Greene. What I am saying is that these are our leaders, right? These are, whether you agree with them or not. I surely don't agree with no Marjorie Taylor Greene. But technically, I mean, she is a representative of a Georgia district. But in the body of Congress, in the body of our civics, these are our leaders. So yeah, we don't look to them for everything, but I would think and I would hope that they would set a standard, that they would model behavior that the citizenry should model. I don't know if there's too much to ask in 2024. Maybe it is. But that would be my expectation. That the people that are in positions of power, that we, the people, have elevated by our vote, that's why it's important to vote, that we have elevated, and by not voting, you're still elevating someone. Hello. But we have elevated people that have debased the office in such a manner that it is embarrassing, it is unbecoming, it is unworthy. And I don't know that we live in a society anymore where shame is a real thing and where people think about, is a person worthy or not, is a real thing. I think maybe that's gone away, but it is unworthy of the office, of the responsibility, and of the power that you wield being in that position and the paycheck that you get. Okay? Because I want to say Congress, I didn't look it up before this podcast, but if I remember correctly, they make over $175,000 a year. That's our taxpayer dollars going to their salary. To argue and not pass legislation. I am confusion. But it is unworthy to behave in such a manner and sit in that office. That's just how I feel. That's just how I feel. So, like I said in the beginning of this podcast, y'all, make sure you vote. Make sure you're registered to vote. Make sure you know who's on the ballot. Sure, if you're in Texas like me, we can't outvote a Marjorie Taylor Greene, but we can vote in a way that gives one side, particularly the Democrats. I'm not voting for Republicans, particularly the Democrats. And keep in mind, I don't identify as a Democrat. It's just when I look at the two parties, who aligns more with my values and what I want to do and what I want to see for the country, right? I don't agree with everything that the Democrats stand for, but I'm surely not going over there to the races that may want to make me 3/5 of a person, that separate mothers from their babies because they wanted to cross a border, that continue to perpetuate environmental injustice against Black, brown, and indigenous folks because y'all letting oil and gas companies just run amok in our communities. I'm surely not. I'm surely not. I'm surely not. Okay? Decide that scared that Black people are making advancements in this country and want to strike down or have stricken down affirmative action. I'm surely not. So that's why it's important to make sure that you are registered to vote, to make sure you also understand the implications of voting and not voting, what each person does. And maybe if I have time, my life is very busy, but I really want to do a civics education series. I really do, but it's just me. It's just me. And because I feel like we need it, man. Or woman. We need it. We need it. We need it so that people understand the implications of why we should be voting and why we should be involved. So that's my spiel. Until next time, friends. Until next time, friends, I will see y'all later. Y'all have the best rest of the week or 2 weeks, because I'm doing a podcast every 2 weeks or so. But y'all have the best rest of your 2 weeks that you possibly can. And I'll see you later.